I've embarked on a series of experiments basically about democracy. And the question is, if you get a group of people in Chile, in France, in Germany, in Afghanistan, in the United Kingdom, together to talk about political issues, what exactly happens? Here's what we learned. If you get a group of people to talk about climate change who aren't very worried about climate change, there's some diversity, let's say, in the group, but on average, they're not very worried. After they talk to each other, they're not worried at all. They become more unified, more confident, and more extreme in their judgment that climate change just isn't a problem. By contrast, if you get a group of people who are quite concerned about climate change and ask them to talk together, after they talk even for 20 minutes, they end up thinking climate change is a horrible problem and we should have an international treaty today. People who are concerned about climate change become more concerned, more unified, and more confident after they talk with each other. What I just described, a little experiment about climate change, and we've done the same thing for a large number of issues, is happening all over every country every day as a result of either social media or just life, when people who tend to think something with respect to politics or the Constitution or corruption, if they talk to each other, they end up thinking a more extreme version of what they thought before they started to talk. That's polarization. And in our own experiments, if people were a little to the political right and they talked with other people to the political right, they ended up very much to the political right. And if people were a little to the political left and they talked to each other, they ended up very much to the political left. In fact, the differences between the groups got much greater when people were in cocoons of like-minded types, which is to say a recipe for social division is if people are talking mostly to people who agree with them, or if people are listening mostly to people who agree with them. When we see sharp social divisions in Germany or in the United Kingdom or in Chile or in Argentina, it's often because of this dynamic where like-minded people who tend to agree with each other sort themselves into echo chambers or information cocoons in which they don't stay where they were. They end up more extreme and society ends up more divided.